Hi, this is another development log for my game Arcane Fortress. Um, Today I'd like to talk about three main changes that I've made since last time. The first of which is more actions on units, such as soldiers. The second is getting the game runnable in a browser. It's a text-based game, but there's a way to basically run terminal applications within the browser, and I just figured out some of that and some of the problems that arose with getting it runnable in a browser. And the last thing I'd like to mention is I just changed some data structures in the code and just like to point out how that was. So first of all, let me show you the actions of the units. So now it's possible to move the units in a simple way. This involved, so let me just go to the first one to give you an example. So this is our first unit. The red is our color, and our player's color, and these other colors are just other players, like Egypt or China or Rome. Just as a test, I've put these here. So now if we go back to our unit, which is the red, you can see at the bottom of the screen here we have different actions that we can choose for each of these units for each turn in the game. So I'll show an example of moving the unit. So if I press V, it's now in the move mode, and as we move the cursor around, you can see the trajectory that the unit will take as it moves. Right now I have not implemented a stepwise motion, which, you know, this movement would require 8 turns of the game for the unit to reach the final destination. But for the meanwhile, I've just added having it jump to the location that it's supposed to go to. So if I press enter, that accepts that and moves it. Because the unit used all of its turn, there's no longer actions as you saw at the bottom of the screen here before. So it's done for this turn. The same can be said here, so we could just pass the turn for this one, and that just means we are not doing anything for this turn. The other option that I have right now is you can disband the unit, which basically means to delete it. So I'll delete a few. So what happens as I go through the units and either move them or pass the move, or basically make them, you know, make the game aware that we don't want to do anything for them, is after that's all done, we'll have the option to progress the turn, and I'll show you on the screen up here that option will come up. So let me just delete the rest of these, and then I put another unit right at the edge of the map just to demonstrate some other features, such as just moving to the next one. So here it is, it's way down in the corner of the screen. So back to this again, then I can delete it, and now that we've cleared all the actions for all of our units, we have the option to progress the turn. Right now it doesn't really do anything except increase the turn counter, but in the future that will reset the movement for the units, and we'll be able to move them again and take further actions in the future. So now let me show you displaying this game in a web browser. So I'll just exit this. Here's a web browser, and I pulled up this program called shellinabox, and I just navigated to it here. I'm running it locally, and I'll log in again to show you. So now I'm launching the game, and well, it looks as it did before, which is good. I had some difficulty in just getting it to look like this, so I found by default shellinabox wants to, I guess, use Unicode or interpret the the outputs of the program as Unicode, and when that happens, it looks incorrect. So I'll just show you. So it doesn't do well with these special characters for some reason, these block characters. So in debugging this, I found that if I disable the special characters and just use simple letters and digits, things display correctly again. Although ultimately the real fix was switching off Unicode in this terminal emulator. So there you can see it works again. Also, in trying to test different terminals, not all terminals can support 256 colors, which is the range that the palette that I'm using here. So in those cases, I have the game detect when the terminal doesn't support all colors. So older terminals may only support 8 colors, and I added an option in the game to allow that so that it would be compatible with older terminals. Actually, I think if I change the term variable and just run it from the command line again, you'll see, let's set term to equal just Linux. And there you see it. It automatically detected that the terminal doesn't support all 256, so it just automatically went to only doing 8. If I try, I just disabled it, nothing. It doesn't change a thing, simply because the terminal doesn't support it, or so it thinks. The last brief thing I'd like to mention is I just basically reorganized a lot of my code, which didn't result in any changes to the game itself other than the internals. So I restructured the maps to be a structure. I previously was just having separate variables for all these attributes, like airability, whether or not I show snow on the map, or elevation, and the type, like land or water or mountains. And the other thing is I'm storing basically a shortcut to the units that are at each map location. So the structure, one entry is one map location. So each point on the map can have multiple units, and these would be indicated by this unit stack structure, which is defined down here. So that's, in a sense, what I have for this week. I hope to work more on the turn system in the next coming weeks. In any case, I hope you check back later, and if you have any feedback or thoughts, comments, suggestions, please let me know. Thank you.